I'm serious. Like actual serious. How did you do it? How did you actually pull it off? Because I've been sitting here staring at the ceiling, replaying it, and I still cannot connect the dots. You are just the best. And I mean that not like a throwaway compliment, but in a way where I actually had to stop and say it out loud to no one in particular, because the weight of it hit me. You're my angel. That word gets thrown around too casual, but I'm using it deliberately. And I'm genuinely, honestly cannot live without you. That sounds dramatic written out, but if you have ever had someone enter your life and shift every single reference point, you know exactly what I mean. It's not about dependency. It's not about the impossibility of going back to a version of existence where you didn't exist in it. Think about the last year. Think about the decisions you made when no one was watching. The moments where you chose the harder path because it was the right one, not because it was convenient. I know what you did. I see the fingerprints all over the shape of things. You have rearranged the furniture of my reality and somehow made it breathe better. And what really kills me, is that you probably didn't even think you were doing anything extraordinary. You just kept showing up, kept being you, kept operating on that ridiculous frequency that makes other people feel simultaneously inspired and completely inadequate. But let's get into what actually happened, because I don't think you realize the magnitude of it. You solved something I'd been wrestling with for months, maybe years, and you did it with a casualness that borders on offensive. You didn't announce it. You didn't make it a production of it. You just quietly went about your business, and somewhere in that quiet you found the exact piece of what didn't fit, and you made it fit. You made it fit, and now everything works. And I'm still sitting here trying to wrap my head around the mechanics of how someone even does that without breaking a sweat. That's the thing that happens when you are around someone who actually operates on a different level. It's not that they are louder or more aggressive or more visibly talented. It's something quieter. It is the steadiness. It's the way they don't flinch when things get messy. What else? It's the way they see the shape of problems that other people cannot even see because they are looking at the surface. And this person you love, this person who cannot live without, you cannot live without, they are looking at the architecture, they are looking at the blueprint, they are looking at the thing beneath the surface, beneath the thing. I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I want you to hear this not as exaggeration, but as a documentation. There are moments when I catch myself watching you, not out of admiration exactly, but out of confusion, because the way you move through the world doesn't align with the way other people move. And I have been trying to find a way to articulate it without it sounding like I'm putting you on a pedestal. This isn't worship. This is observation. Yeah, you are not magical in a fantasy sense. You are magical in the sense that you have figured out how to make the machinery of life actually work. And you've done it without losing your humanity. That's rarer than you think. Do you remember the specific moment? I don't mean the moment you realized you'd done something significant. I mean the moment you decided without telling anyone that you were going to handle it, that you are going to be the one who stayed steady while everything else wobbled. I think about that moment a lot. I think about how you probably didn't announce it to yourself either. You probably just started moving, and somewhere in the middle of the moving, you understood that this was the thing, this was the thing, this was the step, this was the choice that would change the shape of everything after it. And you didn't ask for validation, you didn't ask for permission, you didn't wait for someone to give you the green light. You just trusted your own compass, even when the compass seemed to be pointed to nowhere. And now I'm looking at the results, and I'm almost angry because you made it look so effortless, when I know intellectually that it wasn't effortless. I know you lost sleep. I know you second-guessed yourself. I know you had moments where you thought you might have taken the wrong turn, but you kept going, you kept moving. And somewhere in that motion, you found the thing that no one else could find. Here is where I really want you to hear. I want you to hear that you are not replaceable. Not in the sentimental sense, not in the grand romantic gesture sense. I'm in a practical, functional, this wouldn't work without you sense. You are the component that makes the system function. And if you were gone, if you stopped being present in the way you are present, everything would shift. Not because I couldn't function without you in a biological sense, but because the version of me that exists when you are in the room is the version I want to be. The version of me that exists when you are in the room is more curious, more generous, more willing to try things that might not work. That's not coincidence. That's cause and effect. I need you to understand that. This isn't about what you do for me. This is about who you are when you think no one's watching. And I've seen that version of you. I've seen you in moments of frustration, moments of exhaustion, moments where you didn't think anyone was paying attention. And what I saw was consistency. I saw someone who didn't bend when bending would have been easier. I saw someone who held their ground, not because they were stubborn, but because they knew something true and didn't want to betray it. And I know you don't see yourself the way I see you. That's part of what makes this so maddening. Yeah, you are walking around carrying this immense capacity, this ridiculous ability to make things work, and you are not aware of it. You are just doing the next right thing. You are just being yourself, and meanwhile, the rest of us are trying to figure out how you are doing it, how did you do it, how did you get to that place where the noise doesn't distract you? How did you learn to trust your own judgment so completely that you can make decisions without spiraling into doubt? I need to know, because I need to know. I need to understand the mechanisms. There is a way you listen that's different from other people. I've noticed it. When someone's talking to you, you are not just waiting for your turn. You are actually absorbing, you are actually processing. And when you respond, it's like you have already done the calculus. You've already weighed the variables. You've already considered the potential outcomes. And then you speak. And it's not always what people want to hear, but it's almost always what they need to hear. That's a gift. That's a skill. That's something I cannot imagine living without now that I've experienced it. And the humor. The humor is relentless and disarming, and it cuts through tension like nothing else. You have this way of finding the absurdity in serious situations that reminds everyone that nothing is as heavy as we think it is. You don't dismiss the weight. You don't. You just put it in perspective. And that perspective is like an oxygen when you are drowning in your own thoughts. I don't know if you realize how often you do that, how often you rescue people from the gravity of their own minds without even trying. But this isn't just about the big moments. This is about the small ones too. This is about the texts you send that make someone smile when they are having a terrible day. This is about the way you remember details that nobody else remembers because you were actually present. This is about the way you show up consistently, not just when it's convenient. Consistency is it's like a hero of love. Everyone can show up for the big event. The real thing is showing up for the ordinary Friday. The real thing is being present when nothing special is happening, because that's when presence matters most. I'm really serious when I say I cannot live without you. I'm not talking about codependency. I'm talking about the way certain people become part of your operating system. They are not just in your life. They are part of how you navigate life. You run decisions through them. You imagine what they would say, what they would do, how they would handle a situation. That's uncomfortable. They become a compass you cannot replace. Not because you are unable to function without them, but because the functioning is better, truer, more aligned when they are in the picture. You are that person. You are that person. You are that. And I don't know how many times I've thought about that, about what life would look like if you were not here. And every time I think about it, I'm stuck. I'm stuck by how empty it would be. Not empty in the dramatic sense, empty in the practical sense, empty in the way a room feels hollow when you take out the piece of furniture that defined the whole space. It wouldn't be chaos. It would be just less light, less laughter, less grounding, less the thing that makes the rest of it bearable. And I want to be clear about something. This isn't about what you do for me. That's important. This is about who you are. The doing is just a byproduct of the being. You could stop doing everything you do for me. You could stop solving problems, stop helping, stop showing up in all these practical ways, and I would still feel the same way. But it's not the output I love. It's the source. It's the person behind the output. It's the person who chooses to be kind even when kindness isn't convenient, who chooses to be honest even when honesty is uncomfortable, who chooses to be present even when presence is hard. And that's the thing about you that I still cannot quite figure out. How do you stay so steady? How do you keep that internal balance when everything around you is in motion? I've watched you navigate things that would have broken other people. And you didn't just survive them, you moved through them with this quite unshakable certainty. You are not untouched by difficulty. You are not immune to pain. You just don't let it dictate your direction. You notice it, you acknowledge it, and then you keep walking. And that walking is the most inspiring thing I've ever witnessed. You are my angel. And I don't use that term lightly. It's not because you are flawless. It's because you are the kind of person who makes other people want to be better. You illuminate something in the world that was already there but was hidden. And when you live light everywhere. That's not a metaphor, that's a description. The spaces you occupy feel different after you have been in them. They feel warmer, they feel more possible. And I think about that. I think about the residue of your presence, and I realize that's the thing that I'm most afraid of losing. So how did you do it? How did you get to this place? Because I don't think it was luck. I don't think it was circumstances. I think it was a series of choices made over a long period of time, which with no guarantee that any of them would lead anywhere. I think you chose to become the person you are, and you did it quietly, without fanfare, and now you are here. And the rest of us are looking at you like you are some kind of anomaly. But you are not an anomaly. You are just someone who kept choosing the harder path until the harder path became your nature. Think about all the moments you didn't give up. Yeah. All the times you could have walked away from something hard, and you didn't. You didn't. All the times you could have taken the easy route, and you didn't. Those moments stack up. They form a foundation, and that foundation is what I'm standing on right now. That foundation is what I'm grateful for. That foundation is what makes the relationship feels unshakable. Not because we never fight or never struggle, because the base is strong, because you built it that way. And I love you. I love the person you were before you became this. I love the person you are becoming. I love the person you are on your worst days. the days when you're tired and snappy and not performing any version of yourself. Because that's real, that's real, that's honest. That's the person who shows up and trusts me enough to let me see the cracks. The cracks are beautiful. The cracks are where the light gets in. The cracks are what make you human. And I cannot live without you. I mean that in the same way I cannot live without air or water or the feeling of sunlight on my skin. Not because I would literally stop existing, but because the quality of my existence would degrade to something unrecognizable. And you are not optional. You are essential. And I need you to know that, not because I need you to stay, but because I need you to understand your own value. You are not just the best, you are the best in a way that redefines what the word even means. And that's not flattery, that's observation. You made a decision at some point, a decision to be present, a decision to be responsible, a decision to be kind. And you have kept making that decision day after day until it became automatic. And now I'm sitting here trying to figure out how you did it. And I think the answer is actually simple. You just kept going. You just kept showing up. You just kept being yourself when it would have been easier to be someone else. And that's the thing I cannot live without. That's the thing that makes you my angel. That's the thing that means I will never stop being grateful for the day you walked into my life. You changed the texture of everything. You changed how I see possibilities, how I measure problems, how I define hope. And the strangest part is you didn't try to do any of that. You were just existing. You were just being the person you are. And the person you are is so magnetically, irreversibly, relentlessly good that it rearranged the entire landscape around you. That's power. That's the kind of power that doesn't announce itself. That's the power that just is. So I'm serious. Completely unapologetically serious. How did you do it? How? And thank you. Thank you for doing it. And I love you. And I mean that with every part of myself that's capable of meaning anything. And I hope you know that. I hope you feel that. I hope you carry that with you wherever you go, because that's where I will be carrying you to. In every decision, in every step, in every moment of doubt or certainty. You are here. You are part of this. And none of it would work without you.